The same regime that cravenly browbeats you about safeguarding democracy literally just pulled a stunt that's been replicated by authoritarian despots around the world and throughout the course of history to destroy democracy by simply telling you you're not allowed to vote for the candidate you want.
The Colorado Supreme Court ruling that Donald Trump has now been disqualified from being on the primary ballot for the GOP.
A court entirely appointed by Democratic governors ruled on a case brought by a far-left activist group to effectively block Trump from seeking the presidency.
It's no wonder crooked Joe Biden and the far-left lunatics are desperate to stop us by any means necessary. They are willing to violate the U.S. Constitution at levels never seen before in order to win this election. Joe Biden is a threat to democracy. A threat.
Because the court claimed that Trump incited the January 6th insurrection, despite admitting in their own ruling that Trump told the supposed rioters to behave peacefully. Because fuck trying to run a campaign fronted by a doddering early onset dementia sufferer who can barely talk anymore and gets lost on stage. Why bother going through with any of that when you can just decide that your opposition isn't permitted to campaign instead? Gee, I wonder why they're getting this desperate. Does anyone have any ideas? Because I'm stumped.
Every time the radical left Democrats, Marxists, communists, and fascists indict me, I consider it actually a great badge of honor. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Because I'm being indicted for you. Never forget, our enemies want to take away my freedom because I will never let them take away your freedom. It's very simple. I'm not going to let them do it.
Remember the days before mountains of meaningless email? Remember the thrill of receiving a real letter in the real mail? Rediscover that nostalgic excitement with Historic Mail, a thoughtful gift for anyone who appreciates history and the lost art of letter writing. Well, what do we have here? It's nothing less than a letter from Franklin D. Roosevelt to good old Winston Churchill. Fascinating stuff if you're a World War II buff. The letter demonstrates the special relationship between these two iconic leaders. Check out this letter from Walt Disney to Richard Nixon. Historic Mail is the perfect gift for history lovers. Learn about the fascinating inner lives of the world's greatest historical figures from the primary source itself.
It's Walt Disney to President Nixon when he was vice president, and that's what the letter actually looked like. It was his signature and everything.
That is so cool.
Yeah, he was inviting him onto a TV show. He couldn't make it, but that's kind of cool, huh?
Yeah, that's really,
I
really
love
cool.
these.
I love that.
Yeah, he left a little stamp like Mickey Mouse.
That's cute.
It's just interesting to see this history.
Yeah, and how authentic it is. That's really cool.
Every week a stamped envelope is delivered to your doorstep containing a reproduction of a letter penned by a famous historical figure, supported by a document providing historical context and a typed version of the letter. Get 10 weekly letters for only $59.99, or get a whole 52 weeks worth of letters for an in-depth, personalized exploration through a specific period of history. Get letters from historical titans including George Washington, Abraham Lincoln, Nikola Tesla, and Thomas Edison, almost as if they came straight from their desk to yours. Personalize your gift with this special certificate featuring your name and the receiver's name on it. Just use the code ANYTHINGGOES to get your 10% discount. Go to historicmail.com/anythinggoes to get your gifts today and help support this channel. It was the first time they've used Section 3 of the US Constitution's 14th Amendment to disqualify a president. But this is how brazenly tyrannical it is. The section can't even legally be applied to Trump. The president isn't covered under the insurrection clause, and the district county previously ruled that that was the case. Trump is not a former officer of the United States, as that term is used in the Constitution, meaning Section 3 does not apply. The term does not apply to elected officials, and certainly not to the president himself. The ruling will remain on hold until it's reviewed by the Supreme Court in early January, where of course there's a 6-3 conservative majority, which includes 3 Trump appointees, and you'd fully expect them to strike it down. But according to law professor Derek Muller, the ruling is a major threat to Trump's candidacy and could embolden other state courts or secretaries to act now that the bandage has been ripped off. What could actually end up being more important than the behaviour of Democrat-controlled kangaroo courts is the reaction of the GOP establishment, which has already been doing everything in its power to derail Trump's presidential campaign.
You know, I just found out that Democrats are funding Nikki Haley's campaign. I hear that Democrats are contributing to Ron DeSantis' or Ron DeSanctimonious to Ron DeSantis' campaign.
Should more swing states follow Colorado's blueprint, the GOP establishment could exploit that to assert that Trump is a liability, and then throw everything behind Nikki Haley or Ron DeSantis as his replacement. If the GOP had any balls, they'd immediately coalesce behind Trump. Vivek has already vowed not to run in Colorado if this is allowed to stand. But since the GOP establishment has been trying to sabotage Trump at every turn and prefers people like Nikki Haley, don't bet on it. And don't forget, the Democrats are desperate to get rid of Biden too, knowing that he'd be crushed whether Trump runs or not. But Biden has said he'll only drop out if Trump also drops out of the race.
The president told donors in Massachusetts, if Trump wasn't running, I'm not sure I'd be running, but we cannot let him win.
You take out Trump, you take out Biden too. For Democrats, that's the end game. But do they really think Trump's base is just going to sit back and take it? If you value what I do and you want to help support me, please visit pauljosephwatson.locals.com and either pledge a one-time donation or subscribe to join my community, get early access videos, and message me directly. And exclusive live streams coming soon too. Promise. Check out the Locals link down in the description. And don't forget to take a look at the brand new website modernity.news. That's where you'll find all my content, including exclusive articles. That's modernity.news.